Stephen A keeps putting out stories with anonymous sources and never backing them up. And then also we have other people coming out saying, yo, that's not true. Kevin Durant, yo, that's not true, whatever the case may be. It makes you look worse.
This is looking like nasty work at its finest.
Since we talk about what Stephen A said, we got to talk about how they just, every time he just says something that we'll probably disagree with. I'm not going to lie to you. This is about, Dan Hurley, not going to be Lakers coach anymore. We're squaring back in on JJ Redick, and Stephen A has a problem with that.
What I can tell you is this. Numerous coaches, black coaches, me expressing how they took issue with that podcast taking place. And I think you know enough to know that that's true. Some of them felt very salty about that. We certainly are not blaming JJ Redick. You got your podcast. Maverick Carter approaches you about doing this idea. Who the hell would? I jumped at the opportunity.
Wait, can I pause you on that? They were salty because he chose to do a podcast with a white guy, or because it hurt Darvin Ham?
Because it hurt Darvin Ham.
Okay.
Because it hurt Darvin Ham. So any of us can do a podcast with LeBron James. Anybody who says otherwise, that they wouldn't do a podcast with LeBron James, is lying through their damn teeth. I know I would. I know you would. I know Wendy would. I know anybody would. That would be an honor for us because he's one of the greatest who have ever played, and he's a basketball savant. So we're not faulting JJ in any way for doing the podcast or for the content on the podcast with LeBron James. But at some point in time, we do have to do this, Jay. As I said to Wendy last week, we have to remember the things that we've said about LeBron James as it pertains to his brilliance, as it pertains to controlling a narrative, as it pertains to being 2, 3, 5 steps ahead of others in terms of what you're plotting and what you're planning and what have you. And then that'll raise an antenna. We knew before the podcast ever started that Darvin Ham was on a hot seat. We knew this. Now, in fairness to LeBron James, when the news came out.
Now, y'all know I'll never let Stephen A finish a goddamn thing.
I'm sorry. I'm calling dibs.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
So that, no, just to wrap up the whole point, because he's about to just glaze it up. He is essentially saying that LeBron James, knowing that, he was on the hot seat, that was the time in which he basically helped destroy the credibility of Darvin Ham and kind of undermined him as a coach on the podcast. So black coaches called Stephen A. Avery Johnson. I'm not saying these are the coaches. Avery Johnson, Doc Rivers, Adrian Griffin, all 3 black coaches that have ever existed in the NBA. Paul, Lloyd Pierce, Mike Brown.
Is he not just reporting what he heard?
No, he's not. And that's exactly why I want to go first.
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna try my best not to take up more than 4 minutes. I have to share the platform. This is one of those moments, though, where we might get into 2020 Sage rant-ish levels because, my Lord. First things first, one hitter tweak TKO. Name the coaches. I'm tired, bro. Are y'all not tired of this shit of an anonymous player? A source near me, bro. Name them. I ain't gonna lie. If I'm Stephen A, you want to be a real motherfucker for the community. You want to be a real, damn near on some gangster shit. It actually make you kind of cool. You go live on television. Hey, don't text me none of this shit that you want me to say without willing to stamp your name on it. Don't do it ever again, bro. Because y'all got me looking crazy. Not only do y'all got me looking crazy, I actually think it's weird that y'all want the narrative pushed, but you want to be anonymous behind it. Kind of some pussy shit. So that's one. 2. I also think that he's capping even outside of just not naming the coaches, because I don't think the coach said it's probably him. But Bezos, on top of that, I know nobody said this, because who the fuck care about Darvin Ham? I'm sorry, hey, and maybe that's some slander. Who the fuck care about Darvin Ham? Me? Nah. You? Gang. Who the fuck cares about no damn Darvin Ham, bro? 3, another micro point. How the hell? And I just added this point. How the hell did LeBron get tied into this? How the absolute fuck? There was no discourse about JJ Redick and Ham outside of trolls until the shit became real now. But outside of trolls, there was no oh yeah, JJ versus Ham discourse during the NBA season. The discourse was, yo, Darvin Ham, you fucking suck. There was nobody was talking on no damn, oh yeah, just sign JJ mid-season or anything like that. Nobody was saying that.
He's saying it has nothing to do with JJ. Whoever was sitting across from LeBron, it wouldn't have mattered. It's just the fact that he went on there, undermined the coaching, and then, whatever. My problem with it though, for real though, he said this. Stephen A has alluded to this like 2 times before this, if I'm not mistaken. Yo, now all of a sudden it's coaches. That story has no legs, Stephen A. No matter how many times you try to flip it, because at one point in time he said it before, or whatever the case may be, it didn't really stick. He said it another time, it didn't really stick. Now he has to add the fact coaches called him. Stop dot connector. If you're a dot connector, Adrian Griffin calls, yo, that's fucked up what LeBron's doing to Darvin Ham. You claim you're cool with LeBron. You know what I would do, Sage? Yo, that's my boy. I can get him on the phone. You can explain to him how you feel. Let's have a conversation about it. You're a liar. Football offseason is ramping up tremendously. Trades after trades, signings after signings. Who will win next year? Who will succeed? Well, over at Prize Picks, you can succeed if you play daily fantasy. Let's take a look at Prize Picks. We've got some easy numbers here. We got CJ Stroud, my personal MVP, for 4,000 yards on the season.
You can do the whole season? That's crazy.
I'm learning something today, and I'm about to make a 30-minute drive.
And then on the receiving side of things, we've had some moving and we've had some shaking, but I think one of the more guaranteed picks, Moore, for $499.5. Make sure that you place those things early for the football season. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some change on there. I'm a little scary, so I'm going to just put that for the long game right there. And I'm going to hit place entry. And it is just as simple as that on Prize Picks.
And if you use code LKIB, you guys can get a 100% match on your first deposit of up to $100. Links to everything will be in the description down below. And shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring this podcast. How do we feel about the anonymous source shit? I know Sage said what he said, but for you Omar specifically, like, how do you feel about anonymous
in 2024? I don't think people realize what anonymous source does to them. To be honest with you, to me it takes away your credibility. Not saying that an anonymous source couldn't have potentially said this to Stephen A. Stephen A keeps putting out stories with anonymous sources and never backing them up, makes us believe you're talking. Like if you're never gonna really go out there and say it. And then also we have other people coming out saying, yo, that's not true. Kevin Durant, yo, that's not true, whatever the case may be. It makes you look worse. When Stephen A does it, to me, Bezos, it makes him look worse.
And I've never heard somebody,
I think
go ahead.
I just think the difference is like when Woj says sources tell me, like the shit actually happens like shortly after. I just think with Stephen A, there's a little bit too many stories of my sources tell me this, and nothing comes from it.
Then this dies. It dies. Like,
it just dies.
And that's what I tried to chime into. I've never heard someone say, "Oh yeah, it was me, Barry," with Stephen A. I've never heard someone say, "Oh yeah, it was me." Actually, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that was me. And he could have said my name. That like not once. All the years, not one person ever came out and just said, "Oh yeah, that was me all along." But I gotta talk about the elephant in the room. Y'all know how I feel about appeasing Tommies and Karens. I ain't never like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never even trying to appease them. However, and I don't really care about giving them ammo. However, one thing I do despise is when niggas just look dumb on television. Because even to me, I'm like, dog, you playing race right now? You serious, my nigga? In the NFL, hot take, he's spitting. In the NFL, black coaches get hold all the fucking time just because vibes. The NBA? Let alone the reasoning behind it? Are we serious right now? Come on, bro. So for me, this was pretty nasty, but I truly have an agenda to push here. And this is going to sound like some conspiracy theory shit. It's because JJ got a podcast. It's not owned by ESPN.
That's
popping off.
Right.
Any point in time he could. Hell, shit, look like he did leave, right? I don't know if he's under contract. Shannon Sharp kind of got the same thing going on, but Shannon Sharp re-up. Shannon Sharp's still there. I'm just saying, man, this is looking like nasty work at its finest. I ain't rocking with this, but even if I had to take away my main catch from it and talk about what the title and the thumbnail is. Nah, the idea that black coaches was jealous of JJ Redick is just fucking stupid.
And let me say, because I know Bezos is. I wanna no, I get it. I want to triple down on what Sage is saying. Stephen A is no longer, in our opinion, the go-to black voice for how black people are supposed to feel about sports issues. Like the real culture back in the day, the real culture was looking for like the Bomani Jones, maybe even Michael Wilbon that, was a little older or whatever the case may be. But Stephen A still puts off in front of this white audience that he is the black voice. Like, this is what black people are saying. I'm giving you the black perspective, et cetera, et cetera. Max cleaned his clock up when he was on there a couple times about black issues. He hated that, got him out of there. Emmanuel Aicho is doing more tap dancing. So he's done there. And we're not falling for that anymore. It's no longer a Stephen A says black people feel this way and we just shh about it. That's just not the case.
Is there a voice like that now, or is it just non-existent?
I think people have gotten smarter.
No voice needed type shit.
Yeah, the people have decided who their speaking for black people voice is. And Stephen A wasn't tap dancing hard enough, so they went to Emmanuel Aicho for white folks. And then for black folks, they've decided like Bomani Jones or, whoever, literally anybody else. Literally anybody else is like, okay, well, this is how the culture feels about whatever. I just, again, it makes him look less credible. And this is a product of old media getting up out of here.